What really grinds your dog's gears? Sure, there's vet and grooming, but what about everyday things? Let's dive into 12 reasons you may be giving your dog to hate you without even knowing it. First off, let's talk punishment. This can be a touchy subject, and rightly so. It's usually about introducing something they really don't like raising our voice at them. Not the best feeling, right? A stern no might get their attention momentarily, but the end result? Studies show that dogs trained with a heavier hand tend to be more stressed out, anxious, and less confident. Another punishment technique is taking away something our furry friends want, like our attention. But that's not ideal either. Why? When dogs are only shown what not to do, they're left in the lurch, sort of like, okay, I shouldn't do that, but then what should I do? So, what's the alternative? The flip side of the punishment. Reinforcement is about saying, hey, I like what you did there, do it again. You can encourage good behavior either by giving them something they love, like a tasty treat, or by removing something they're not so fond of. Think along the lines of finally taking off that muzzle once they've learned not to snack on street finds. After all, a happy dog means a happy home, right? But this next mistake can make an even bigger dent in your doggo's day. Life's busy, right? We've all got jobs, errands, and the occasional vacation to keep us out of the house. That's how we ensure our pantry, and more importantly, our dog's food bowls stay full. But here's the kicker. Our dogs don't really get our whole got-to-work thing. And for some pups, being left alone can really ruffle their fur. So here's the game plan for when you can be home. Quality time. When you are with them, make it count. Spend the time with your pals setting a routine that includes lots of exercise and activities to get their brain ticking. You do want to keep them from redecorating your living room with the insides of your couch, right? And when you absolutely got to head out and can't take your furry friend with you, why not set up a little doggy date? But here's the catch. It's less about where they are and more about who they're with. Just like us, dogs aren't keen on being thrown into social mixers without their say. They've got their buddies and, well, not so buddies, and they're pretty upfront about who's who. Now don't get me wrong, nudging our more reserved pups to make a new friend can be good for them. But watch for those signs that scream, no thanks, like tucking their tail, looking everywhere but at the friend, or the classic stress panting. And then, there are more serious back-off signals, like a stiff wag, hackles standing up, or even a growl. Pushing them into these spots can make them start wondering if you've really got their back. So hey, if a meetup's going south, don't just stand back pulling on their leash. Do the opposite. Step in front of them as a barrier. By becoming their personal bodyguard, you can really show them you're there to be trusted to keep things cool. Picture being trapped in an elevator with someone who went way overboard with their perfume. That's the daily reality for our dogs, but cranked up to 11. Some of the top offenders on the no thanks smell list, vinegar, chilies, and nail polish are up there. And citrus? While it might smell fresh and clean to us, the essential oils can really mess with their breathing, making it super uncomfortable for them. Now here's where it gets a bit funny. Those smells we find downright nasty? Dogs are all over them. In fact, you'll upset them a lot if you make this next mistake, isolating them from the news of the world. While we rely on our eyes to soak in the scenery, our furry pals are all about that nose life. But here's the bummer. We sometimes zip through walks like they're just another item on the to-do list, sticking to the same old paths and hurrying them along. That's like rushing through an art gallery with blindfolds on. So here's a cool idea. Why not switch it up with a smell walk? Slow down the pace, pick a fresh route, and let your dog lead the sniffing spree. And to make these sniff-centric walks stand out, how about a special harness or backpack? That way, your dog knows it's time to let their nose be the guide, turning walkies into a fun-filled exploration. Now, onto a different smellscape. Our love for squeaky clean spaces. Sure, a clean home is a happy home, but those heavy-duty cleaners? Not so dog-friendly. Studies have thrown up some red flags, showing dogs that breathe in bleach or ammonia regularly might end up with sniffly troubles and actually start acting out. Pet-safe cleaners or even trusty old baking soda can do wonders to keep your place sparkling. And for your doggo, a happy nose leads to a waggy tail. Now, on to something a bit trickier. Those moments when your dog seems to hit an invisible wall, dead set against going any further. Maybe it's the dreaded bath time, a trip to the vet, or just a certain spot that gives them the heebie-jeebies. It's not just stubbornness, it's fear talking. Pushing your dog into these panic zones is like throwing someone scared of water into the deep end. Not cool and not effective. Instead, keep a comfy distance from whatever's spooking them and dish out treats for calm vibes. Slowly, bit by bit, ease them closer, rewarding their bravery all the way. If the vet's the villain in this story, start building positive vet vibes with treats and calm visits that don't end in a checkup. And for those loud noise jitters, soft music and doggy earmuffs can work wonders, making scary sounds less of a big deal. Use these calm down tools now and then in chill times too, so they're a part of the good times as well. Ever find yourself chatting away with your dog, but they just tilt their head, looking puzzled? Dogs might catch the drift of walk or treat, but a whole human monologue? Not so much. What really speaks volumes to them is our body language. But what gets really tricky is when our actions say the opposite of our words. Take this, for example. You're telling your dog to stay, but you lean in, hand outstretched. To your dog, that's like an open invitation to come over. So when they do and get a telling off, it's a total head scratcher for them. You know that saying about feeling the tension in the air? Well, dogs can literally feel it through the leash. When we keep the leash loose, it's like telling our furry buddy, "All's chill here, no worries." On the flip side, a tight leash is like a red alert to your dog. It screams, "Heads up, we're on edge!" And yup, your dog picks up on that tension faster than you can say walkies. Plus, imagine how it feels for them to be constantly tugged on, while knowing they can't exactly make a quick getaway if they feel the need. Mastering the art of the slack leash walk is like the holy grail of dog walking. Sure, it might take a bit of practice, okay, maybe a lot, and you'll find plenty of fellow dog owners in the same boat. But getting there means walks become a lot more enjoyable for both you and your pooch. Boredom blues? Yep. Our four-legged pals can hit them too, especially when their parents are caught up in our daily grind or just too zonked to engage. But fear not, there's a fun fix to the dilemma. Quick training games. Mixing up the day with a new trick, revisiting old ones, or playing hide and seek with their favorite toy can work wonders. Ever tried urban agility during your walks? It's like an obstacle course for city dogs, and it's a blast. And it's not just about physical tiredness. It's that good kind of pooped where they're mentally satisfied too. Just a short daily session of 15 to 30 minutes of trick training can really perk up your pup's spirits. Now, on to teasing. Seems harmless enough, right? Maybe even a bit funny. Not from the dog's perspective. Whether it's barking back at a dog, making faces at one behind a window, or the old tail pull prank, it's not a joke to them. It's confusing and frustrating, and frankly, it can mess with their heads, leading to some not-so-great behaviors down the line. So, the next time you think about teasing a dog for a chuckle, remember what's a laugh for you could be genuinely distressing for them. And the fashion front? We may love to deck out our pals in the latest fashion trends, but let's be real. Dogs aren't exactly vying for the next top model title. Sure, a cozy sweater might be just the ticket in the dead of winter, but always make sure those adorable outfits are comfy and not causing any rub the wrong way. After all, it's all fun and games until someone ends up feeling weird and wacky. Want your dog to have a glossy coat, a sharp mind, and a happy tummy? No matter if you're feeding them kibble or home-cooked meals, we've got 16 budget-friendly human foods that, when served up correctly, can add years to your pup's life. And be sure to subscribe to our channel and join our doggy-loving community.